Hey guys, today we'll be recapping a manhwa called The Reaper of the Drifting Moon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Here we go. The story begins on the streets where a fair is being held, and our protagonist, a 14-year-old boy named Wall, is satisfied with what he's gathered. Now that he has what he needs, he must find somewhere to sleep for the night. Wall is an orphan who aimlessly roams the land. As he makes his way out of the fair, he runs into a mysterious man. While as afraid as he feels, this is a dangerous man, and his intuition is far from wrong. As Wall wakes up in the darkness, there isn't a single ray of light. He tries to move, but he quickly realizes he can't muster any strength to get up. He starts shedding tears as he tries to figure out how he ended up in this situation. All he can remember was his encounter with that mysterious man earlier. He remembers the man saying he looks useful. Wall figures out he must have something to do with why he's there. He doesn't recall making any enemies, so he concludes the man must have some sort of goal. Wall is not sure how much time has passed, so he tries testing his memory. Though he was an orphan, he can remember his age, his name, and the names of both his parents. At this point, he's been in the dark so long he doesn't even know if he's awake, and he begins to cry. He's scared and lonely and doesn't know how much longer he'll have to suffer. Wall hasn't even had anything to eat and starts to believe he will either die of starvation or insanity. He wonders if the man's plan was for him to die of starvation. Wall starts crying again as he feels he has not done anything to deserve this torture. But suddenly, Wall gets a sensation in his hand, and he can't believe it. He finally has some movement and is also having an easier time breathing. His bodily senses are returning. He can smell the damp air and feel the cold ground. This leads him to conclude he's underground. Off into the distance, he can hear water. Wall tries to gather the strength to move his body so he can drink some water. He fights through the paralysis and begins crawling towards the water. He hears. Wall knows he has to fight to survive. He finds his inner strength and keeps crawling. Wall finally reaches a stone wall where he heard the water coming from. There's a small stream of water coming from the wall, and Wall slurps up what he can. However, he still can't see in the dark and accidentally slices his finger on one of the rocks. Feeling defeated, Wall falls to the ground and passes out. As he lies on the ground, he wakes up as he senses someone's presence. But what Wall sensed was a hallucination of himself. His conscience is asking him why he's fighting so hard to survive. It asks, what's so great about your life for you to be struggling so much? Just give up, it says. If you give up, you will be at peace. This gets Wall thinking if he'll really be at peace if he were to just let it all go. But he doesn't think so. He's going to survive. His conscience tries to tell him he's just wasting his strength, but Wall knows he won't be at peace if he dies like this. He wants revenge on the one who did this to him. Wall decides to fight to stay alive, and it will all be worth it once he gets his revenge. Sure, conscience asks if he's sure he wants revenge, and Wall shouts yes. His conscience succeeded, as Wall just needed a little push to not give up. Wall sits upright and approaches the stone wall again. He feels the moss on the wall and tries to eat it. The moss tastes terrible, but he doesn't feel sick from it, so he goes back for seconds. He is willing to do whatever it takes to survive. He needs to keep reminding himself so he doesn't quit. Now has the energy to stand. He tries walking around the room. According to his measurements, the space he's in is roughly 9 square meters. As he paces the room, he hears an iron door opening. Wall tries to call out for help, but he sees a shadow of someone leaving him food. He gets a whiff of the food, and though he can't see it, he smells the fish, pork, and tea leaves. Wall received a few variations of leftovers and guesses there's more than one person involved. There must be 5 or more people trapped along with him for a specific purpose. He just can't figure out why. But he can't hold off any longer and devours his plate of food. 4 months have passed, and Wall has taken this time to increase his strength. They provide him with food once a day and never say a word. He has yet to see a glimpse of a possible escape. He thought he would go insane in a situation like this, but his eyes are beginning to adapt to the darkness. Wall is now able to see fragments of the space around him. Sometimes he wishes he couldn't, though, as he finds he doesn't live there alone. Wall notices something from the corner of his eye and assumes it's just more insects. But little did he know it was actually a snake. The snake gets a hold of Wall's arm and begins hissing. The snake looks up at Wall and bites into his arm. Wall shrieks in pain as the venom stings his flesh. His whole body is beginning to feel like it's on fire, and the pain is unbearable. But all Wall can do is lay on the ground and suffer. Wall's meal arrives, and he hopes eating will replenish some of his health. He refuses to let himself die, no matter what. Time passes, and Wall is faced with the snake once again. Wall feels his body change during the detoxifying process. One improvement he noticed was his vision. He can see things in front of him more clearly now. Wall sticks his hand out towards the hissing snake, as he believes the snake bite may have made him stronger. He's heard stories like these before. Wall hopes he can become resistant to the snake's venom and potentially gain a weapon, so he allows the snake to bite him once again. He feels like his body is on fire, but he notices the pain isn't as bad as the first time. Wall stares into the eyes of the snake. Its eyes have degenerated from the darkness. Though its eyes are bright, it's an exceptional hunter that uses its stealth to consume its prey, sometimes even using sound to incapacitate its prey. Though they get a bad rap, snakes are not greedy. After they finish their meal, they don't make the mistake of chasing their prey away by intimidating them. The snake slithers away, leaving Wall with a new attribute. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake, and Wall can't believe what's happening. The door has opened. Wall rushes to the door and sees more rooms down the hall. He peeks into one of the rooms and gets a big whiff of rotting flesh. Wall analyzes the body and assumes the person is around his age. He also wonders if it's the same for the other rooms. Wall makes his way down the hall and is once again faced with the door. The handles and bolts were removed, but he's able to push the doors open. On the other side of that door, he sees an estranged boy and girl. Without saying a word, he walks past them and searches through the additional rooms. He sees more corpses, and the girl finally asks who Wall is. She asks him where he came from, as she can't see who Wall is in the dark. Wall introduces himself and says he was trapped in the adjacent sector. Wall asks for their names, and she says her name is Yo, and the boy's name is Song. Wall doesn't need to know more and demands they follow him. He says there are probably more places like this, and a few meters down, he runs into another door. They decide to follow him, and on the other side of that door is another group of people. They are all shocked to see each other, but Wall notices there were fewer people who starved to death in this sector. The people in this sector opted to take their own lives instead. He also notices there were more bowls of food here than where he was. Wall tries to think of why they would be discriminating between the sectors. Yo calls for Wall's attention and says this group was trapped around the same time as them. They continue walking and reach another underground area with a door. Wall opens the door and they are blinded by the light. They think they're about to go outside at first, but then they realize they're being blinded by a torch. Once their eyes adjust, they cannot believe what they see. It looks like an underground village. They walk to the structures and see no one's inside. Wall concludes it must have been made in a hurry because the structures are flimsy. As Wall tries to figure out the purpose of this village, one of the girls from the new group calls for him. Her name is Min. She says she'll be in his care from now on. Min gets closer to Wall and asks if his eyes were always like that. There are no mirrors in this village, so Wall is not sure what she's talking about. She tells him his pupils are red, and he figures they must be from the snake bite. Min wants to know what Wall is thinking about, but he won't share any information. This doesn't stop her from talking, and she tells Wall he's different from the others. Yo interrupts and asks what they're doing. Min says they're just talking, and Yo proceeds to say the others have decided to group up. Yo asks if Wall is going to stick with them, but Wall isn't sure he wants to group up with anyone just yet. Yo and Song get offended, but Wall says right now just isn't the right time for him. She has no choice but to accept Wall's decision. Min, on the other hand, is eager to join the group, but Wall knows they've been isolated for too long. There's no way their cognitive thinking is in the right place. Wall walks away and decides to just watch from afar. Watching from afar, Wall notices several cliques have already been formed. There's a group with Eon Song leading, a group with Kang leading, a group with Young leading, and then there's Wall, a kid who doesn't belong in any group. The other groups are talking, and they're wary of Wall. They believe he might have killed everyone else in his sector, and that's why he doesn't want to join a group. Wall doesn't have any mind to pay to those guys, though, and walks towards one of the walls. He thinks that this underground lair couldn't have been built that long ago. With the amount of moss on the walls, this could only be the work of someone extremely wealthy. Suddenly, a hole begins to open in the ceiling, and everyone looks up. A basket is descending from the ceiling. The basket reaches the ground, and it's full of food. A few of the others try to dig right in, but Yo stops everyone. Yo says they should try to evenly distribute the food. Before anyone says another word, Wall says he needs his share too. Wall reaches in for his share, and Young stops him. Young says no one may take food from the basket without his permission. Little does he know he just made a big mistake. Wall pulls his hand back and gouges Young's eyeballs. Everyone is in shock as Wall slams Young to the ground. Wall dares Young to say something to him again, but all Young can do is scream in pain. Wall isn't backing down now and digs his fingers in deeper. If the others weren't afraid of Wall, they definitely are now. Yo asks Wall nicely to let go of him, and at first, Wall refuses. But Yo promises that no one will touch his share of food. Wall gets up and stares down at Young. Wall grabs his share of food and walks away. Time passes, and Wall still watches from afar. As he's eating, he feels they're being tested right now and that they'll continue to be tested until the capturer's goals are met. Yo approaches Wall and asks how he's been. Wall knows he has no friends here but tells Yo he's been watching them. Wall knows how important Yo is to the others. She eats the least after securing the most food for her group, and she stands out most among the other leaders. Yo asks Wall if he still sleeps in his dark room alone. Wall has been because he's trying to grow more tolerance to the venom. The snake bites are no longer painful to him. As he's talking to Yo, the ceiling opens, and here comes their meal. But when the basket drops, they're all confused. They've only been sent a small portion of food. Yo can't believe it, but this is exactly what Wall was waiting for. It begins. He thinks to himself, thanks for watching part 1. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Previously, we left off with Wall using a snake bite to increase his strength. He then gathers with a group, and they find an abandoned village. At this village, they receive baskets of food until one day they're surprised with a much smaller portion. The story continues, and the lack of food has started a war. Nak is a boy who survived the final sector. He's a member of Yo's group. He was the smallest of the group and pulled his weight through his sheer tenacity. Unfortunately, Mak was found lifeless. Yo's group took the loss hard, but everyone knew he died because he was the weakest. Yo and Song vowed to avenge Mak's death. They planned to do so in the same exact way. Wall knows the weakest of another group will be eliminated next. After Mak came a member from Sen's group. This was still just the beginning. Every night, someone was found lifeless, someone from Yo's group, someone from Young's group, someone from Sen's group, and someone from Kang's group. All trust was gone, and everyone became a savage. Meanwhile, Wall doesn't have to worry about the food shortage because he'll always have his secret moss. He still hasn't gotten used to the taste, but he's willing to do whatever it takes to survive. So far, the others haven't made their way to Wall's dark room. But this is about to change as Wall hears voices coming from down the hall. He senses at least 4 of them, and he knows their intentions. No one walks through the dark for nothing. Young and a few members from his group are plotting to eliminate Wall. Young feels this is the perfect time to take revenge. But as they were walking, one of Young's members felt a sharp pain in his leg. He falls to the ground as the snake slithers away. His body could not withstand the snake's venom, and he passes away quickly. Young gets angry and begins shouting for Wall. Wall sneaks up behind one of the members and puts him in a chokehold. Young is even more furious now and commands Wall to let go of his friend. Wall contemplates whether or not it'd be a good idea to take his life for a second, but then he proceeds to snap his neck. Wall has eliminated all of Young's men, and Young finally rushes at him. He comes up empty with every attack and loses. Wall sneaks up behind him and says he won't be taking just one eye this time. Drunk scampers a little bit but asks Wall to wait. He tries to negotiate with Wall and offers to join forces. This confuses Wall, but Young argues Wall won't be able to survive much longer without him. Young senses Wall doesn't like that offer and counters with agreeing to be his minion. Wall approaches him and says there's no way he could trust him. Young tries to defend himself one last time, but Wall doesn't care. Wall crouches down and releases a huge uppercut on Young. He proceeds to put Young in a chokehold, and he chokes him out. Wall says to himself the reason he took Young's life is because he feels that he is still too weak. After Wall's encounter with Young and his confidants, the rest of his group was disbanded. The other leaders knew it had to be Wall's doing. The leaders discuss and wonder how strong Wall could be. The one thing they know is they don't want to be his enemy. San continues to discuss with his group how far the problem has gone. There's no solving the distribution of food. People are killing to secure food. In the end, everyone has become a murderer. They know now that Wall has taken out Young. No one will touch him. San turns to his group and orders them not to even think about doing anything to Wall. There's nothing more terrifying than someone with nothing to protect. San's group understands his reasoning. Then another member of the group comes running. He says 2 kids from Yo's group have been banished, and they have a potato. The boy says they have to hurry before they eat it. San can't believe what they're about to do for a potato, but he tells everyone to get ready. San and his group head over to the red house and see the pair with their potato. The group can't wait to move in, as they are apparently willing to do anything for a potato. San orders them to attack the pair. He sees the group rushing at them, and they try to run. But something feels off to San. With their third position, they're at a disadvantage. One of the kids holding the potato sends out a signal by whistling, and out come the members from Yo's group to attack. San shouts for his group as they get whacked. San tries to get his group to retreat as they have fallen into a trap. But behind San are more members rushing in on him. San is circled, and out comes Eon's Song. They know they have the potential to reduce the number of mouths to feed. Right now, San begs for his life at least. Yo says she'd like to, but they can't afford that much food. San gets worried, and Yo says he would have done the same if he were in her position. Yo turns away and orders her team to eliminate them all. As she walks away, she looks up and sees Wall still watching from afar. Wall has learned some of Yo's tactics, battles using terrain, various shortcuts, and tricks, and building placements that make infiltration impossible as long as there is competent security. Yo just uses this area exactly how those who made it intended it to be used. Wall believes they're trying to use them in terrain like this someday. And if there's a large house like this, that means this is the manor of a large clan of a very influential figure. The consequences will be massive if they attack this place recklessly. Wall concludes that's why they're using them. They are tools they can throw away after using once. They were thrown into hell, and their nature has been demolished. They are being raised to be assassins. After eliminating San and his group, members from Yo's group are rejoicing. They are happy to be on Yo's team, and Yo believes no one would dare mess with them now. But from afar, Min is upset. She's upset everyone has gotten so used to murder. Min doesn't understand how they could eat so freely with blood on their hands. Meanwhile, the ceiling begins to open, and everyone is surprised as this delivery is a little earlier than usual. Yo orders her group to secure as much food as possible. She's ecstatic as she feels they will finally have enough food to fill their stomachs. But she notices Wall from the corner of her eye. He's not as excited as everyone else and seems wary of something. And when Yo looks back, she sees why Wall had that look on his face. Instead of a basket of food, masked men have jumped down from the hole. Everyone's confused for a second, but the masked men immediately start beating them. As everyone's getting beaten, Wall lays down and takes cover. He decides not to make a move because he doesn't want to draw attention to himself. Wall then notices the real ones that are commanding the masked men. The real ones halt the beating, and the leader introduces himself as the first sword. He announces to the kids that their lives are now in his hands, and there are no exceptions. One of Yo's members tries to protest and instantly suffers the consequences. Wall grimaces as he knows things are about to change. Later on, the real ones are meeting behind closed doors in the village. They are discussing curse poison. When you place poisonous organisms into one jar, they will eat each other until only one remains. The last one remaining possesses the most potent poison. The real ones are trying to figure out the child in the group with the most potent poison. The first sword asks which one of the kids is worth paying attention to, and his associate, the second sword, responds, Yo. She leads the largest group and has the greatest influence over the others. If they do not crush her spirit, she will become much harder to deal with in the future. The first sword demands that Yo receive special attention. He doesn't want her to even dream of a rebellion. The second sword says Song and Kang are also worth paying attention to because of their outstanding martial arts. Then the first sword asks about the sole survivor from Sector 1, Wall. The second sword notifies him that Wall is still alive. The first sword is impressed, as Sector 1 had the least amount of food and the poorest conditions. He wants them to pay very close attention to Wall as well. As the meeting ends, the first sword thinks to himself how there are only 6 years left to complete their mission. The Bloodshadow group was given an assassination mission with a duration of 7 years and a reward of 500,000 yang. The only condition was to not leave a single trace related to the Bloodshadow group behind. For the next round of training, one of the masked men announces the group's next objective. He says the one who reaches the flag at the top of the house the fastest will receive a 2-hour break, and the one who reaches the flag last will be taught what true hell is. The race is on, and the merciless days continue for the trainees. Their days are filled with non-stop training. They have to do whatever it takes to survive, especially if they want to see the outside world again. And of course, the winner of the race was Yo. The real ones discuss the challenge from afar. They know Yo's intelligence is outstanding, and her guts are top-notch. The first sword asks about Wall, and the second sword reports that Wall is average. He hasn't shown anything that distinguishes him from the rest. This surprises the first sword, but he wants them to keep watching Wall. Later, Yo approaches Wall. She's confused as to why he's still reviewing the thunder-splitting cultivation technique. Though the instructors are no longer making them read about the technique, Wall felt like reviewing it anyway. Yo doesn't see the point and heads to bed. Wall recalls the lessons from the real ones. They said the thunder-splitting cultivation technique is a technique that they should be able to learn in 3 months. If they acquaint themselves with the first process, their body will be reborn as one that can feel Kai and accumulate internal energy. Wall feels that the others, along with the instructors, don't grasp the full concept of the technique since it's not humanly possible to physically split thunder. The concept may be referring to the speed of your thoughts. Wall thinks if he can learn the technique with this interpretation in mind, he should be able to gain something different than he has already. but he still must never show how much he's learned. He cannot stand out for being too exceptional or too lacking. Everything has been going according to plan until Wall is forced to dodge a blade going for his throat. Wall asks why he's doing this, and Yoke responds, saying he wants to have some fun. Wall considers taking him up on his challenge as the instructors seem like they couldn't care less. Wall draws his blade, and Yoke rushes at him. Wall dodges every attack and is surprised by the amount of effort Yoke is putting into this fight. He won't give up the fight, and Wall has had enough. Wall begins countering, and the instructor is now impressed. But Yoke wants Wall's best effort, and now Wall is left with no choice. Wall drops his knife and kicks Yoke right in the chest. As these two are fighting, the first sword is discussing with the second sword how fast the group has improved. The second sword thinks they only need 5 years instead of 7, but the first sword is disappointed with how much his second sword has underestimated their target. Their target is the man who possesses the most talent in all of Sichuan. The first sword wants their trainees to be pushed even harder. Back to the fight, we see Wall completely manhandling his opponent. Wall snaps his arm, and the boy drops down in tears. The real ones wait to see what happens next, and Wall does nothing. Now one of the masked men approaches Wall and asks if he did this. Wall replies yes, and a sword is instantly drawn to his neck. Wall didn't even see the sword come in and was shocked that a human could move so quickly. Wall is panicking as he wonders if he did something wrong. But the masked man pulls his sword back and says that Wall, an assassin, must never leave a trace behind under any circumstance. Leaving a trace by breaking an arm like that is nothing more than letting your opponent know your identity. He wants Wall to keep this in mind for the future. Wall lets out a huge sigh of relief as the masked man walks away. 6 years later, one of the masked men is walking through the village. He's looking for the trainees, as their objective is to hide from him. He spots one and warns him that he'd be dead if this were real. He moves on to search for more. The trainer knows no matter how much they've learned, an inexperienced assassin's turtle breathing technique is bound to be noticeable. He easily spots another, and that's another failed test. He continues walking as his goal is to find the last person in this zone. The masked man scans the area, but he can't find anyone. He feels someone may have made a mistake and said there was an extra person in this test. He calls for someone to come out if anyone remains, and to his surprise, right next to him is Wall. Wall has clearly passed this test and asks for a break, which is granted. The trainer is still in disbelief. Wall returns to the house and finds Yo and the others. Yoke is excited to see him and asks what he's doing there. Wall is annoyed by the different faces Yoke makes and tells him he's going to forget what his real face looks like one day. Yoke says it doesn't matter as they'll never leave this place anyway. But Yo interrupts and says the quality of the food has been getting better. She believes they'll be given their mission soon. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories.